Shocking family betrayal. What if the person you trusted most pulled the trigger? Grizzly, Detroit street legend turned rap star, now faces allegations that he orchestrated his aunt's murder. Cell phone logs, bank withdrawals, and dashcam footage trace the hit back to him, while rumors of an illicit relationship explode behind bars. In this video, we'll dissect the evidence, expose the twists, and ask, is this a redemption story or calculated cover-up?
The 2019 hit and new allegations. They called it a routine Detroit shooting, until it wasn't. On a warm August night in 2019, Jobina, aka JB Brown, stepped onto her porch and never made it back inside. The streets buzzed with the usual whispers, another victim, another shooter. When Chicago's own Jermaine or Wu-Thang Whedon was arrested with a .40 caliber Glock matching the shell casings, relief rippled through the neighborhood. Case closed, right? Fast forward to July 2025. The courtroom was packed, but the air turned electric when the prosecution paused mid-testimony. Prosecutor Tricia Morales slammed a stack of phone records onto the lectern and asked the judge to take notice. Cell tower pings placed Wu-Thang exactly where JB fell. Bank withdrawals from a Detroit ATM lined up with deposited cash at a Chicago credit union. And dashcam footage pulled from an Uber ride caught a blue Camaro peeling away seconds after the shots rang out. That's when the bombshell landed. The evidence didn't just point to a hired triggerman. It traced back to one name, Grizzly. The rapper who'd publicly mourned his aunt in a tribute song now found himself accused of orchestrating the hit. Prosecutors unveiled screenshots of encrypted messages allegedly between Wallace and a Chicago crew contact, and bank statements showing six-figure withdrawals in the days before the murder. Even more damning, a witness testified that she saw Wallace's initials scribbled on a receipt stub near the getaway car. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. No longer a random act of street violence, the killing of Jobina Brown looked like a calculated conspiracy, one driven by motives so tangled they felt ripped from a midnight soap. As the court cleared its throat, every eye turned to Grizzly. The man who once claimed a hit gone wrong now faced accusations of pulling the strings himself, and the trial was just getting started.
Phone logs, bank records, and dashcam receipts. They say the devil's in the details. Here, the details came in digital form. First up, the cell tower pings. Prosecutors presented a heat map showing Jermaine Wu-Thang Whedon's phone pinging off towers within a block of Jobina Brown's home. But that map also traced another signal. Grizzly's phone jumping between Detroit and Chicago towers in the 48 hours leading up to the shooting. Sudden midnight trips that didn't show up on any travel logs until now. Next, the money trail. Bank statements seized from Wallace's accounts revealed cash withdrawals totaling $45,000 in the week before JB's death. The withdrawals matched deposits into an obscure Chicago credit union. Prosecutors point to surveillance stills of Wallace at an ATM wearing the same hoodie he appears in during an Uber pickup video. The sums didn't add up to a music budget. They looked like payment for a professional hit. Then came the dashcam footage. An Uber driver's camera, legally obtained by Chicago police, captured a blue Camaro pulling up outside JB's house. Seconds later, the shooter steps out, lingers in the shadows, then disappears as the car screeches off. Analysts enhanced the footage, zooming in on the license plate, Chicago plates. Court documents claim that vehicle was re-registered under an alias tied to a shell company allegedly managed by Wallace's associates. Finally, encrypted chat logs. Prosecutors decrypted messages between a Chicago crew member and an unknown contact labeled T. In one exchange, T asks, "Are you ready for tonight?" followed by a gif of falling dominoes. Hours later, the shots rang out. While defense teams cry foul, arguing messages could be fabricated, the chain of evidence paints a chilling picture. Digital breadcrumbs leading straight back to T. Grizzly. So how did a Chicago crew know the precise moment and location to strike? In the next section, we'll unravel the family drama that may have lit the fuse.
Taboo family drama. They say blood is thicker than water, but what if that blood carried poison? Rumors suggest Jobina S.B. Brown wasn't T. Grizzly's blood aunt at all, but his uncle's wife. And whispers claim their relationship crossed lines no family should ever breach. It's been said that while T. Grizzly's uncle served a 9-year sentence, Wallace and J.B. grew closer, too close. Neighbors recall seeing late-night visits. Court documents reference motel receipts with matching initials. A confidential informant told investigators she overheard intimate phone calls between the two. None of this appears in hard evidence yet, but the allegations alone sent shockwaves through Detroit's tight-knit community. Prosecutors used careful phrasing. Allegations indicate an inappropriate relationship may have been a motive. Defense attorneys pounced, insisting these are salacious myths meant to distract jurors. Yet the timing is damning. 3 months after JB's husband went behind bars, her murder plot seemingly kicked into gear. If jealousy or blackmail fueled this crime, it points to a betrayal so deep it defies explanation. Behind courtroom doors, a witness testified she spotted a text on JB's phone reading, "Can't wait till it's just us," signed simply T. The defense argues the message could be innocent, a nephew reassuring his aunt. But combined with the dashcam and bank records, jurors can't ignore how personal this case feels. And then there's the motive. Prosecutors claim Wallace stood to inherit property and money if JB died, assets that could bankroll a lavish rap career. The defense counters that inheritance would be negligible compared to his existing wealth. Still, they haven't refuted the core allegation of impropriety. These unverified claims hang over the trial like a storm cloud. Are they desperate attempts to demonize a grieving nephew, or clues to a crime planned from within? In the next section, we'll explore how T. Grizzly's life inside Chicago jail became even more perilous once these rumors surfaced. Jailhouse revenge and the Fifth Amendment. Even concrete walls can't muffle a scandal this loud. When the allegations against T. Grizzly went public in July 2025, whispers in the Chicago Detention Center spread like wildfire. Inmates who once ignored the Detroit rapper now eyed him as a marked man. It began with shoves in the chow line. Sources claim Wallace was jumped in his cell block, reportedly by affiliates of Jermaine Wu-Thang Whedon's crew. One inmate told guards he overheard plans to teach nephew a lesson. Another found a crudely scrawled note under Wallace's bunk. "Blood money stains your hands." Prison staff quietly moved him to solitary for protection, but word still leaked. Then came the live stream. Wallace went online to deny the rumors, calling them nasty work and insisting he'd never harmed JB. Yet hours later, prosecutors subpoenaed him to testify in Whedon's trial, and Wallace invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. In court, his attorney argued it was a tactical move to avoid irrelevant and inflammatory questioning. Outside, the streets saw it differently. "Innocent men don't duck justice when their family's killed," one commentator wrote. That refusal to testify fueled fresh speculation. Fans loyal to T. Grizzly defended him online, accusing media and prosecutors of a smear campaign. Others saw it as the ultimate sneer, silence in the face of damning questions. Social feeds filled with memes, a pixelated Wallace, mouth zipped shut with the caption, "Guilty or just scared." As tensions climbed, the jail's rumor mill churned non-stop. Every aisle echoing with, "Did you hear about the messages?" and "He knew too much, so they shut him up." Whether real or fabricated, these rumors didn't just endanger Wallace's safety. They seeped into jury rooms, shaping perceptions long before opening statements. Behind bars, T. Grizzly faced 2 fights simultaneously, one for his life and one for his freedom. Next, we'll rewind to where it all began, his transformation from street outlaw to chart-topping artist.
From street legend to chart topper. What happens when survival instincts meet unrelenting ambition? For Terry Wallace Jr., known as T. Grizzly, the answer was a metamorphosis born in desperation. In July 2014, he and an accomplice treated Michigan State University's dorms like a personal treasure trove. Laptops, gaming consoles, and nearly $20,000 in cash vanished overnight. When an arrest warrant forced him to flee, he landed in Lexington, Kentucky, hammer in hand, only to be greeted by deputies instead of riches. 9 months behind bars in Kentucky felt like a lifetime, but it was only the opening act. Extradited back to Michigan on a home invasion charge, T. Grizzly faced up to 15 years. Inside those prison walls, he didn't just fight for respect, he fought to survive. He studied law books to challenge weapon classifications, leveraged legal precedents to reduce charges, and navigated violent hierarchies with a strategist's mind. Each victory in court became as sweet as any street score, proving he could outthink opponents as easily as outfight them. Then, in October 2016, freedom arrived, and the legend truly began. Within hours of walking out, he dropped First Day Out, a raw, unfiltered anthem that racked up 250,000 views in its first week. When LeBron James shared the track on Instagram, the cosign from greatness turned heads across the industry. By 2017, 300 Entertainment and Atlantic Records offered him a deal, a validation that his survival story resonated far beyond the streets. T. Grizzly's rise wasn't an overnight miracle. It was a calculated hustle. He translated the grit from prison corridors into lyrics that cut deeper than any bar fight. Collaborations with Lil Durk on the Blood A's mixtape cemented his credibility, while his debut album, Activated, broke into the Billboard 200's top 10. Every milestone, from Twitch streams with fans to festival stages, served as proof that authenticity could conquer both street cred and mainstream charts. But success brought new challenges, maintaining realness in an industry built on reinvention, staying true to humble beginnings while navigating contracts and collaborations. As T. Grizzly's star ascended, he faced the question every survivor dreads: can you keep the hustle alive when the grind pays off?
Musical evolution and redemption. How do you turn a prison cell into a platinum studio? For T. Grizzly, survival became soundtrack. After Activated's success, he doubled down on authenticity, refusing to chase trends. His 2019 album, Scriptures, explored faith and family, while 2021's Built for Whatever showcased unflinching street narratives. Each project peeled back another layer, revealing growth born from hardship. In May 2025, he dropped My God, a spiritual pivot produced by Hella. Lyrics like "Please stay focused, don't get tricked off the streets" weren't just bars, they were prayers, affirmations forged in concrete silence. A week later came Forever My Moment, a tight 14-track masterclass blending introspection, social commentary, and raw energy. Tracks like They Shot at Trump and Dearborn demonstrated his range, capable of biting political critique and gritty memoir in the same breath. Beyond albums, T. Grizzly leveraged new platforms. His Twitch streams, primarily playing Grand Theft Auto V, revealed a playful side. Jokes about failed heists, banter with fans, and glimpses of life as husband to Maisha Agnew and father to Terry Wallace III. Those streams weren't distraction, they were conversation chambers, where followers saw a man committed to change and eager to connect. Festival stages followed. At Summerfest 2025, his 45-minute set in Milwaukee had crowds chanting every lyric, proving his appeal transcended studio walls. The upcoming Forever My Moment tour, stopping in Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, and beyond, underscores a fan base hungry for authenticity over gimmicks. Yet redemption isn't a destination, it's a daily grind. For Wallace, marrying Maisha in 2023 and welcoming his son added stakes higher than any chart position. Songs now weave fatherhood into survival tales, balancing grit with gratitude. Collaborations with J. Cole, Future, and YTB Fat highlight industry respect, yet he remains grounded in Detroit's rhythm. From concrete cells to sold-out arenas, T. Grizzly's evolution proves that the same resilience that kept him alive behind bars can fuel an enduring musical legacy, one that battles inner demons even as it celebrates triumph.
What's next for T. Grizzly? Even as the dust settles on courtroom drama and chart triumphs, the biggest questions about T. Grizzly remain unanswered. Will the upcoming trial finally reveal the truth behind Jabina Brown's murder, or will it cement the narrative of betrayal that fans can't unhear? Schedules show the next hearing set for October 2025, but delays common in high-profile cases. He could be in legal limbo long after festival lights have dimmed. Meanwhile, his musical journey presses on. The Forever My Moment tour rolls through the South and Midwest in September and October, pausing only for his headlining slot at Afro-Future Detroit this August 16th, 17th. Sharing stages with international names like Gims and Ludmilla will test how global audiences connect with his Detroit-rooted stories. If his Summerfest performance is any indicator, he'll turn every hometown stage into a homecoming celebration. Offstage, Wallace's life continues evolving. His marriage to Maisha and role as father to Terry III demand stability. Yet the street rumors threaten both. Social media remains a battleground. Supporters rally behind #FreeTGrizzly, while skeptics repost dashcam snippets and encrypted chats as proof of guilt. In the streaming space, his Twitch channel has grown into a community hub where he fields questions about fatherhood, faith, and yes, the case itself. Always careful to frame unverified claims as what's being said, never as gospel. Brand partnerships and endorsements hover on the horizon, but corporate sponsors often shy away from controversy. One source says a luxury watch brand paused negotiations when prosecutors leaked details of the bank withdrawals. Yet T. Grizzly's authenticity, his ability to turn pain into art, is his strongest currency. So, is this a comeback story or a cover-up in the making? As trial dates approach and tour stops tick off the calendar, the world watches, waiting to see if redemption can withstand the weight of suspicion. In the end, perhaps the only person who truly knows what happened is the man behind the mic, and he's not talking.